What's good everyone, it's Smudger here, and today I'm going to run through pretty much every viable spot within the maps for hitting those long shots. I know that the camo grind is a tough one this year, especially with some of the weirder challenges. The last thing you want to be doing is messing around with long shots when they should in theory be really easy. For assault rifles, it's around 41-42 meters for a long shot, and all of these points here are around that distance, some are a bit further. Some you have to back off kind of from your spot a meter or two behind you just to make sure you get that long shot. You can always ping and see it, so let's jump into it. So first up on Cartel, obviously this spot is really nice. You can see through a lot of the map, you can see up into the command tower as well, over until the hangar, and then the actual command tower itself is my personal favourite. You can get both sides just about at 42 meters. The back of the hangar, if they're trying to run through there, is a really nice spot, especially if you can get maybe a trophy system up here to stop any incoming grenades, or if you're running flat jacket, it's probably the best spot on the map for long shots. And then obviously the opposite side of the map, the opposite spawn as it is, you can hit a long shot just about into the control tower if your back's against the wall. And other than that, I wouldn't really recommend using this spot. It's not really the world's greatest spot. However, if you do come over to the truck and hop up on here, you can get long shots over onto the other truck if you back right off to the edge of the truck, and again up into the command tower. By the creek, you've got all these, pretty much long line of sight, self-explanatory. You can always ping to see if you are within that kind of long shot range if you're not sure. Gonna keep it really simple for Armada. Both spawns have really good lines of sight over to the middle set of windows, I guess you could call it, and then also down onto the catwalk below. You can also get anyone that's kind of camping up there. Use all the windows. People are going to try and kill you pretty sharpish once they realise you're up here. The catwalk, you'll catch people off guard for the most part. Obviously on the opposite side, you're actually a bit closer to the windows. You should still be able to pick up some long shots there, as well as onto the opposite side where people like to camp, and the catwalk. It's pretty self-explanatory, both spawns are pretty much identical. And then over here, if you are spawn trapping, you can catch people on these stairs, but after that you're going to struggle to hit that 42 meter mark if you're starting to look down here. You can back all the way off and try and jump shot maybe, but it's not really the easiest spot in the world. Aside from that, you're pretty much going to be stuck to kind of both spawns and like this middle section for looking out the windows and trying and catch people off guard. Obviously it's a hive of activity in here, so you're probably only going to be getting one or two long shots maybe out of these windows, or as people come out of spawn before someone's going to rip your head off. The nice little one is actually directly across the catwalk. People often don't think about it. Moving on to Crossroads. This isn't Crossroads, is it? What the hell's the name of this map? Checkmate. It's Checkmate. This has some decent lines of sight in it. Obviously it's quite a fast paced map really, a lot of easy flanks, so just kind of watch that. You can hit most long shots from any position kind of within your own spawn. Just kind of stick to the edges of the map in this one. You shouldn't really have too many issues hitting long shots. This direction's far easier to hit long shots on than the opposite direction, looking down the same corridors you'll see in a second. I don't know what it is. I think it's because you quite often use these barrels as head glitches. It just makes it a bit harder to hit long shots from this direction, but it is possible. Up here seems like an obvious choice, but when you look at it, there's not actually that much in terms of kind of long shot potential. The lines of sight aren't actually that good here. I wouldn't really recommend it. I would, however, recommend heading over to what is the A flag site in Domination. You can get some nice lines of sight here. You can't actually get long shots into the plane from here. You do have to move over to the boxes that I'm now stood on, just as a heads up. So if you're wondering why you're not getting long shots there, that's why. And then moving on to, this is Crossroads. Moving on to Crossroads. Obviously this is going to be your main line of sight, is people up on this hill or you looking down on them. There's kind of a multitude of different headies you can take to kind of pick people off. Just be aware they can also stand to the left of that hill. As you'll see here, it's far harder to get long shots, I feel, from this side looking down because you're far more exposed. I'd probably say you're better off standing by these sandbags and kind of picking people off this way. You're far harder to target to hit. It's much easier. The other side of the map doesn't really have a whole load to offer. It's far more kind of covered and close quarters combat, so if you're going for long shots, just don't really bother with that side of the map, I'd say. And then if we move on to Garrison, you're going to see that essentially this main corridor that I'm sure everyone is aware of is going to be your main line of sight as you look up onto this bridge, either side depending on which side you spawn on. Those lines of sight are going to be kind of your bread and butter on this map. You have to have your back right up against the wall, I would say, when you're on this side. You can push forward a little bit up onto this platform, but you can't really push much further. And then obviously looking across isn't even going to give you the 40 meters. Again, it's quite a small map. If you want, you can probably pick people off spawn if you do have them a nice little spawn trap. It's a pretty hard shot, especially if they're playing right on that wall. I would say that this is quite a nice little kind of hidden long shot just behind the, I don't know what it is, like anti-artillery gun or something like that. Other than that, if you are getting spawn trapped, check up for the bridge because you'll probably find them up there. All in all, not the best map, but you know, it's doable. It is definitely doable, I would give it that. This map's probably better suited to just kind of racking up headshots and kills. As you can see here, you're going to struggle unless they're stood up against the wall to really hit a long shot from this side. It's really not the beneficial side for trying to hit long shots down this corridor, but it is what it is. Moving on to Miami, it's full of long shot potential. This entire angle is just long shot central everywhere. People will just sit in this building all map. You know, snipers will sit in here, LMG players will sit in here, everyone will sit in that building, and if they're not sat in that building, they're sat across where we are right now. Alternatively, you've got full cover of the beach. Obviously everyone knows this spot, you've got a nice bit of cover there. People will make a target of you though because you are visible to everyone, but you do have full sight of the map, and almost every sight line you see is a long shot sight line, even if they're out on the boat. If you are in this building, good luck finding long shot potential unless they're spawning all the way back here. Most people don't tend to run that road though. Other than that, I would recommend kind of crouching down and looking out this way. People don't often expect to find you there. You kind of shoot them in the ankles and there's your long shot done and dusted. Alternatively, you push down and you're the opposite side of the first angle that I showed you, just looking straight across and just picking kids off when they're not looking at you, or when they're reloading, or when they've just missed their shots. And then you got the sniper's nest. Everyone knows about this. It's a pretty popular place to go. People will make a beeline for you if they see you up here, but you know, you might get a couple of long shots here and there. And then finally, the opposite to the line of sight at the start, looking across the beach, you can catch people up here, catch people if you're behind this umbrella, although it is not bulletproof, so do bear that in mind. And then if you really want to push around onto the boat, and you can catch people up onto the right and then also across into that building that I was talking about at the start of the map. If you've got really good eyesight, maybe you've got a better scope on here than just the defaults. Onto Moscow, not a good sight for long shots, just gonna say it now. This was pretty much the only one you can get. There's one other that I'll show you now. It's not made for long shots, it's made for close quarters engagements. This is a pretty nice one if they are playing that heady over there, but aside from that, there's not a huge amount you can do. In theory, you can probably get a long shot off of this if they are playing the heady kind of towards this way, and then again if they're camping, maybe a flag and domination or a hard point. Again, long shots aren't really this map's specialty, they're not what it's made for. You are going to get picked off pretty easily, although this bus one is a really nice one, especially if they're spawning to the left. You're pretty hard to hit, especially if you're kind of bobbing and weaving within the bus. I quite like this one, to be fair. And then Satellite, the map that is made for long shots. Well, it's made for snipers, but there's long shot potential there too, even up into the middle of the map onto the plane crash. You can pick people off pretty easily. Just got to play kind of headies on the rocks, play your cover, try and not get out into the dunes too much. But this rock in particular is pretty nice for picking off people for long shots as they come off spawn on that side. You know, if a sniper's not paying attention, you might be able to pick them off in time. But aside from that, you're going to want to stick kind of to the middle and just really kind of play the cover as much as you can. Obviously, snipers are going to be firing off left, right and centre. It makes it a bit difficult. I would avoid going into the sand dunes unless maybe you're trying to get long shots for the LMGs maybe. I would say it's far easier to get long shots on this side if you're based in the middle, and if you are going to try and kind of play a heady from back here, you've got to make sure you are as far back as this ledge essentially allows you to be, to make sure you do have the 42 metres. Obviously you can come out into the dunes if you want. I really wouldn't recommend it. The dunes are horrible, I'm not a fan. And that covers all the maps, all the multiplayer maps, not the big maps. For long shots, it's a grind, it's a tough grind. I'm really not a fan. This taking cover one is killing me as far as ARs go. But if you enjoyed it, if you found it useful, maybe you found a few spots you didn't know about, give it a like, hit subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you later.